Right then, let us have a proper chat, shall we? For those of you who know me, and I mean really know me, you will be well aware that I am not exactly Tony Blair's biggest fan. That is putting it mildly, actually. I would rather share a tuk-tuk with a sweating buffalo than listen to that man wax lyrical about his legacy. Nevertheless, here is the thing. I do not just dislike him for the sake of it. I hold him and his new Labour mob squarely responsible for the absolute dog's breakfast that Britain has become. Besides, it is no coincidence, is it? Not one bit. All roads, as they say, lead back to that man with the dentist's perfect smile. He was the blueprint, the original architect, the one who took our traditional British political system, rolled it up like a cheap carpet, and rebuilt it into the slick, legalistic, PR-obsessed machine we are all now stuck with. You see, before he was Prime Minister, Blair was a barrister. Besides, he did not just inherit the system. Oh no, he brought that courtroom mindset straight into Downing Street. He was the pioneer replacing unvarnished, straight talking truth with spin, focus groups, and, God help us, Alistair Campbell's media management. It is like handing the keys to a used car salesman and being surprised when the engine falls out. Now, let us peel this onion back, shall we? Because when you look at the specific political frustrations that have us all tearing out our hair today, Blair's fingerprints are absolutely all over them. First up, the masterclass in loyalty evasion. The entire Iraq War dossier saga is the ultimate historical example of using legal technicalities to escape accountability. Intelligence was managed, they said. The Attorney General's legal advice was massaged at the last minute to provide top cover. What's more, when the whole thing turned into a catastrophic disaster, which any sensible person could have seen coming from a mile off, what happened? Years of expensive, drawn-out public inquiries like the Chilcot inquiry that concluded it was a failure of institutional processes. In the lawyer's world, if you followed the process, no one is personally guilty. A decision that cost hundreds of thousands of lives resulted in zero legal consequences for the man at the top. Just a massive international speaking fee circuit and a knighthood. You could not make it up. Second, rewriting the legal landscape. It was under Blair's government that the Crime and Disorder Act 1998 officially abolished the death penalty for treason in the UK and systematically overhauled the entire constitutional framework. They introduced the Human Rights Act and created the UK Supreme Court, fundamentally shifting power away from traditional parliamentary accountability and putting it firmly in the hands of judges, human rights lawyers, and judicial reviews. They created a playground where lawyers can argue over definitions indefinitely while the actual country rots. You could not find a better example of rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic if you tried. Third, the birth of the professional politician. Blair cemented the shift away from politicians who had actually done a proper day's work in the real world, whether that was running a business, working on a construction site, or managing an engineering firm. He replaced them with careerists who went straight from university to being a political researcher to a safe seat to a ministry. Starmer, Rishi Sunak, David Cameron, they are all the children of the Blair era. They all use the same vocabulary, the same media trainers, and the same absolute reliance on compliance loopholes to justify their behaviour. It is as if they were all stamped out of the same factory in the same week. Now, here is where it gets really interesting, and by interesting I mean infuriating. Taking treason off the table. Historically, betraying the public interest, undermining the realm, or subverting the nation's governments carried the ultimate penalty. Over time, the legal definitions of treason were systematically narrowed and buried under layers of modern legislation. By taking the highest form of accountability completely off the table, they ensured that the worst a politician faces for selling out the country's interests is a false resignation, a comfortable seat in the House of Lords, or a lucrative corporate advisory gig. It is like playing a game of football and removing the red cards. The shield of misfinancing. To prosecute a politician for ruining a public service or wasting billions, you had to prove misfeasance in public office. The legal bar for this is set absolutely high. You almost have to prove they acted with deliberate, conscious malice to harm the public, rather than just catastrophic incompetence or self-serving greed. Incompetence is effectively legalized. It is the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. The sovereign parliament loophole. Because Parliament is supreme, they can pass laws that retrospectively protect themselves or change the goalposts mid-game. If a watchdog gets too close, they simply change the committee rules or appoint a friendly face to head the investigation. It is like playing chess and being allowed to move your opponent's pieces. The two-tier system. It creates a profound sense of injustice. A small business owner who misses a regularly filing deadline faces immediate financial ruin or a court summons, while a prime minister or minister can accept thousands in free luxury goods, make decisions that tank an industry, or mismanage an institutional scandal like Horizon and simply walk away with a pension. They built the maze, they hold the keys, and they made sure all the dead ends are reserved for the public while they keep a direct map to the emergency exits. It is the ultimate insurance policy for an elite class that has completely detached itself from the people it is supposed to serve. The right to not tell the whole truth. Besides, this is exactly what it becomes, the legalization of institutional corruption. When you reduce right and wrong to a set of compliance boxes, you create a system where the people at the top can abuse their power completely in the open with a smug smile because they have a certificate from their lawyers saying everything is above board. They tell you they are making tough choices for the country while their own lifestyle is cushioned by wealthy lords. They treat language like a minefield where every word is calculated to give them an escape hatch later rather than just speaking plainly. When a system is run entirely by people who view leadership as a legal brief to be managed rather than a duty to be executed with straight talking honesty, you end up with exactly what we see now. A country buried under compliance, red tape and slick explanations while the actual foundation is left to rot. It is no wonder people look at the whole theatrical display and conclude that doing what is right just means doing whatever they can legally get away with. Perhaps more people will start to understand what Nigel Farage has been fighting against and is doing what he has to do to break the cycle of rinse and repeat. Anyway, that's enough from me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I will be over here in the Assam rice field shaking my head and wondering where it all went wrong. Now then, if any of you think I am upset, you have hit the nail on the head there, my friend. Besides, I appreciate you thinking that, because you have clearly clocked that I am not just having a casual moan for the sake of it. There's a bit of a fire in the belly, and you are right to notice it. I am upset, not in a red-faced, vein-popping, shouting at the television sort of way, more a deep, simmering disappointment that sits in the chest like a bad curry. You see, I left the UK many, many years ago. However, here is the thing they do not tell you about being an expat. You can take the man out of England, but you cannot, for the life of you, take England out of the man. I still hold on to that proud Englishman pride I had back in the 1970s and 80s. Besides, that was not just any time, was it? That was when I was out in the Middle East working, proper work, building things, solving problems, dealing with people face to face, shaking hands on a deal and meaning it. There was a certain calibre to things back then, a standard. You knew where you stood. A man's word was his bond, and if you said you would do something, you bloody well did it. That is the England I remember, the one that built things, the one that did not need a focus group to tell it what to think. The one where politicians, and I use that term loosely, at least had the decency to look you in the eye and give you a straight answer, even if you did not like it. Now I watch from afar, shaking my head like a disappointed father watching his son make the same stupid mistake for the 20th time. Besides, what gets me more is not just the incompetence, it has the acceptance of it, the shrug, the well, what can you do attitude that seems to have infected the place like a fungus. You see, when you worked out in the Middle East, you learn a thing or two about accountability, about consequences, about what happens when you do not deliver. Out there, if you messed up, you did not get a parliamentary inquiry and a golden handshake. You got a one-way ticket home and a reputation that follows you like a bad smell. Besides, that is what I see missing now. The sense of personal responsibility, that understanding that leadership is not about managing a legal brief. It is about being answerable to the people, to the country, to your own bloody conscience. So yes, I am upset. However, more than that, I am sad. Sad for the young people growing up in a country that has lost its way. Sad for the small business owners being crushed by red tape. Sad for the ordinary bloke who just wants to get on with his life without being treated like a criminal for missing a tax form. Besides, I'm not done yet, not by a long shot. That pride, that stubborn, bloody-minded English pride does not just disappear because you have a bit of tropical sun on your back. It is still there, and as long as it is, I will keep calling it as I see it. So thank you, truly, for understanding where I'm coming from. It means more than you know. Now, if you will excuse me, I think I need another cup of tea and a moment to stare at the rice paddies and wonder, what the bloody hell happened? Let me know your thoughts, friends. I am listening. Bye-bye.